I don't think musicians listen to only their own music, right?
Well, how else are they going to make an original song?
I actually have heard that. Like, I think there was an interview with Donald Glover, and he's like, yeah, I don't listen to any rap, any hip-hop, any R&B. Like, I only listen to, like, rock and things like that. Things that I'm not going to make because I don't want to bite off somebody else's flow on accident.
That's exactly what I was for a majority of my life. Is that I didn't watch movies because I didn't want to bite off of other people's movies. So that's why people are so confused. They're like, you went to school for film-related stuff, and you haven't seen, what's the Shawshank Redemption?
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, I didn't want to be influenced, so I just wanted to make my own creative things. So if there was a scenario, there it is, where I copied somebody, it was not actually me copying because I didn't know about it.
Parallel thinking. Mm-hmm. They talk about that a lot in stand-up industry, I guess you would call it. I think it was Amy Schumer she's always getting blasted because people think she's more popular than she should be. Mm-hmm. But she has a lot of parallel thinking, which essentially means she came up with something and another comedian had already said something very similar in the past, but she claims that she came up with it herself and that they just happen to think of the same thing, which is very possible, happens all the time. Mm-hmm. But there's like montages of her specifically where like her whole set, somebody else has come up with the material before. So it just kind of looks like she's stealing the jokes. I don't really know if she is or not. Kind of seems like she's stolen some stuff. Or her writers have stolen some stuff.
It seems like you're trying to be very unbiased here, but you're not a fan.
I don't think she's that funny personally. It's just not one of the stand-ups I'm into. Mm-hmm. But the whole... I think people like to target. They like to jump on people.
Yeah.
Like without really knowing much about what's going on. They'll be like, oh yeah, I hate Amy Schumer. She's like a very hateable person online for some reason. So I'm not really into just hating people. But yeah, she might have stolen some jokes. I don't know.
The only comedian that I will like throw shade at is Dane Cook. Because he's like... Yeah, he was just like the funniest thing in middle school because he would curse a lot.
Okay.
So you're like, that's good. That's comedy.
Yeah.
These things pick up airplanes?
So, I don't know if I'm sure it's picking up, but my apartment, the AC doesn't work. And I didn't find this out because I moved in December, haven't had to use it. But it was 80 degrees today, and my apartment is about the same. So I have all the windows open because it's cooled off a little bit. And I live about 2 miles from the airport, so we might hear some planes.
Yeah, you're listening to this on the 27th at 6 a.m. because, you tune in as soon as we post these things.
Oh, yeah.
And it is the 23rd right now.
Oh, so we're saving this till next week.
Yeah.
Wait, 4 days away. That's Friday. Do we release on Fridays?
It's Thursday.
It's Thursday. I read my phone thing wrong. I
thought
it said
crazy.
Tuesday.
4 days would be Saturday from Tuesday.
Man, who cares when we upload this? All right, we missed like two weeks, I think.
Hey, whoa! Rip. Come on, man.
Hey, I'll take the blame for that one.
You told me to record for you too, so we have an unreleased podcast of me.
Oh, really?
No, no, I did not do both parts of the podcast.
Yeah, I was MIA 1 week, and I told Aaron, I was like, hey, just go ahead and record both of our parts and release it. He seemed a little hesitant. Maybe he did record and he doesn't want to release.
No,
That'll be a bonus tier on our Patreon.
You heard my impersonation. I don't know if I could have pulled it off.
It was pretty good, yeah. He sent me some, maybe we'll edit this over, but he sent some impersonations of me over text, which I've saved.
Okay, good.
So I'll go ahead and toss this in now. Shoot, what was that? Oh, yeah, we missed a couple weeks. We're trying to figure out the timing because we have to figure out the show we're going to watch the show, record on a certain day, and then edit within the week. And we have not quite figured out the best schedule, I would say.
We honestly might need to think of a different kind of topic. Like I mentioned when we were making this podcast originally, doing like Reddit stories and trying to discuss the legitimacy of them, just because it's hard to watch a reality show.
It's hard to watch a new show every week. It seems easy. But it's I should probably silence my phone. That'd probably be good. I'm getting a lot of Snapchat notifications. Group chat. I'm not popular.
You're going crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we should just talk about politics. Wax on current events and give our heated opinions.
I might hop on the MIA train and you'll do my part for that. Yeah, we're just gonna become the Daily. The Daily 2.0.
Oh, and then we're going to release it every day. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that seems...
Well, I mean, I could use it right now. Even if I can get some the revenue coming in.
Yeah, let's get some revenue. You need to do what I'm doing. You need to put up some music live streams.
Okay. Well, I was actually funny that you were doing that because I'm doing a meditation video for one of the therapists in the company that I used to work for.
Yeah.
Because they just liked my work. And I was thinking, like, I could just do, like, a 10-hour version of this and put it up on YouTube and just be, like, meditation music.
Yeah.
Because I still have all of the licenses from my previous job for all the royalty-free music and stuff.
Oh, nice.
So I could just download it all, put it into a mix, and then bam.
You have, like, a huge library to choose from. Is that, like, Adobe thing?
Epidemic Sound. Okay. Use code REALVIEW20 for 20% off.
Hell yeah, our first sponsor. This is only, like, episode 5, too. That's
there we
sweet.
Go.
Yeah, I'm looking at that now. Actually, I thought about doing this a while ago. I was like, oh, I could do like rain sounds or like a playlist or live stream. And then I saw a YouTube ad for it. Mm-hmm. He was like, oh, how to make passive income. Toss up these 10-hour rain videos. I'm making $63,000 a month. And I'm like, well, damn, everybody's doing this now.
Yeah.
This is not an original idea.
That's why I asked, like, if that's what you're doing, because it's kind of inflated now.
Yeah. I don't really plan on making anything from it. I personally enjoy listening to these. I think it'd be cool if I made money from it, but if you're putting up music, especially lo-fi, you're not adding any ads to it. Mm-hmm. It ruins the whole thing. That's not the point. If you're trying to chill and like get in the zone, and then it's like
they do have ads though. That is the thing.
Who does?
Like those meditation things and stuff will have ads in them still, because they kind of want people that just listen to it for the first 10 minutes and then just fall asleep, so that it plays through the whole thing and gets the ads going.
Okay.
But all of the ones that I listened to when you came over, like that one time, I'll listen to it while playing board games or something. They have ads in them, so they're getting revenue from it.
Okay.
But
I guess I didn't notice because I have ad blocker. So
okay.
I assumed that they didn't have ads because it's music and it's supposed to be relaxing. So why would you have ads? Mm-hmm. So I was just going to do it like 100%. Like they have like those donation things. I doubt that would work unless you're popular. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how much they're pulling in for ads versus donations. I feel like donations would be more, but I don't know.
Well, you'll be doing that, and I'll be hopping on Dole Gamer. And I'll be making gaming TikToks and stuff to see how that works out.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and plug it on the podcast, and then,
Can't wait.
That'll blow up, because we got some fans on here. So
of course.
Yeah. Did you start that yet?
No, nothing yet. I was just looking for a job. I guess I could do that at the same time. Yeah, I've been putting more work into my volleyball TikToks, so.
Yeah, this has been good, man.
Thank you. Hey, yo. Got that comment down there.
That was good, yeah. What are we doing here, man? What's going on? Just hanging out, shooting the breeze, talking about our business ventures?
I mean, for the last 15 minutes probably, and now we're going to discuss a reality TV show on our podcast.
Here. Maybe for the last time.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll take a 3-week hiatus after this.
Well, also, we're going to change this into a political podcast. So
okay, yeah. And
tune in next week when we talk
finale.
about Hillary Clinton and what she's been up to, because I think she's been MIA, right?
Okay. No, I don't know.
I don't know if you've been keeping up with the Clintons lately. I haven't, but we could. That would also be a lot of research, actually. Let's scrap that.
You want to go back onto the show now?
Yeah. Let's go back to. Let's do Real View original. Let's just review reality TV shows, decide if they're real, and talk about it every week.
Okay. And I'll continue being Aaron.
Okay, I'm Preston.
Sounds good. This week, we decided to watch a show, I think it was released back in 2018 from what I saw, called Death by Magic. Mm-hmm. There's a guy who goes by the initials DMC, who is a...
Does he really? I didn't know his name.
Devil May Cry, His name is
really?
No, Drummond something. But I thought of Devil May Cry right away because I'm a gamer.
Yeah.
But it is a show where he's very experienced from what I see. Like, it's a 40-minute show, I think, and the first 30 minutes are just him doing street magic, essentially. Mm-hmm. And then he does, at the end of every episode, a magic trick that a previous magician has died from doing.
Yeah.
And it's like, can I do it instead?
Yeah.
Has magic gone too far?
Yeah, and then he'll like one up it a little bit, which he doesn't. It's kind of cool. He doesn't really mention that too much, and then at the end he's like, "Oh yeah, and by the way, we're doing this one better." So I just want to say right off the bat, I really like this show.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I have gripes with it, but I like the concept, of course.
yeah,
So my big thing is I'm skeptic. I don't believe in magic, but I know that like the sleight of hand and all that stuff.
what's not to believe?
What's not to believe in magic? That there's no like it's fake. Like magic is all just like sleight of hand, doing that kind of stuff. There's no like illusion or anything.
Are you saying Disney isn't real?
Disney? What is Disney got to do with this?
No, I just mean, okay, I didn't know you were going to take it there. I thought you were implying, I'm sure we're going to get to this, but you're saying it was like camera tricks or something.
Yeah.
But you're saying even when people do it in front of you, you're saying it's fake because it's magic isn't magic and they're actually playing a trick on you.
Yeah.
Which I thought was common knowledge, but
Dude.
we're... Okay. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but there's still people where like he literally throws cards through a ceiling fan at one point. And
Yeah.
you're like,
I think that's awesome.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's awesome. Yeah, but people will stand there and be like, "There's no way."
I mean, that feels like an appropriate reaction when you can't figure something out like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the fun part. It's even some of them that I can't figure out, I go through a cycle with this one because it's a bit of a, maybe this is a bit of a brag, but I feel like I take pride in the fact that I'm pretty good at figuring out magic tricks. So I enjoy the show a lot, and I'll be like, oh, I bet he did this like this way, or this is maybe one of the ways that he approached this trick. And then the ones I can't figure out, I'm immediately like, oh, this is camera tricks.
Yeah.
This is a fake trick. And then I'll sit there and I'll think about it for like the rest of the show, like 45 minutes. And then like an hour will go by and I'm like, oh, actually, I guess he could have done it like this. It wasn't camera tricks. And so because I've done that on like several tricks, I'm like, okay, the ones that I'm claiming are camera tricks, it's just because I haven't figured them out yet. It's not because they're not real.
Okay. Interesting. I definitely think it cuts a lot, which is weird because there are shows like Penn and Teller where the camera is literally on the person the entire time and people still can't figure it out. So there's a lot of moments where it will no longer be on the magician and just be filming the reactions or just the facial expressions of the people. And you're like, okay, that's where it happened.
So what's an example of a trick that went like that?
I can't think of an exact example. Oh, you got me good on this one.
Well, I'm not trying to like gotcha or anything. I was thinking when you were saying that, I was thinking of the episode 1, the Death Defying stunt he does is another magician in Cape Cod put on a straitjacket, was in the middle of the street, and he had about a minute to get out of the straitjacket and roll out of the way of a car hurtling towards him. And something messed up. He actually had a heart attack by the autopsy, and as he's having the heart attack, the car hits him. So this guy had a really bad day, and he died from that. So in the recreation, our friend, what was the name? RDJ?
DMZ?
DMZ. Our friend DMZ does it on a train track.
DMZ? Like the driving place?
No,
DMV.
Yeah, DMZ. Is it DMZ?
No, it's DMV.
His
name is DMC.
DMC. Okay. Oh, we were talking about camera cuts. Okay. So, on that trick, it does kind of cut to the audience, and he does this thing where he's on the track, he's in a box in the straitjacket. He gets out of the straitjacket. He's supposed to get out of the box and the straitjacket before the train hits him. There's like a camera inside the box. It shows him getting out of the straitjacket, but then it just cuts to the audience, and then the train hits the box, and he appears on the back of the train, and that's the trick. Are you saying that's kind of the camera cuts where it doesn't show what he does right before the train hits?
Yeah. Also, that whole thing seems like it could just be filmed, like a camera of him in a box in a completely different like time,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're just cutting back to this box that's just shaking on the train tracks. Because he lights a flare at like 10 seconds left.
Uh-huh.
And that flare is supposed to be the something went wrong flare.
Yeah.
And I mean, first of all, the flare is in the chest. What's the flare going to do inside of a box? The train isn't going to stop within 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And then, second off, he's on the back of the train afterwards. So it's like, in 10 seconds, he didn't just get on the back of a moving train.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. This is how I think he did the trick. Well, first of all, the smoke, it was just a ploy the whole time. I was 100% sure he could pull it off, and it was just to get the crowd bought in and be like,
he's gonna
I'm
die.
in trouble. Yeah. But here's what I'm thinking for the train. So the train was going slower than a normal train would at full speed. I'm guessing the train was going about 30.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking the way that he would have done this trick, assuming it's real, I personally think it is real, is that this train was about like 4 cars long, I think, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what they did was they modified this train so it wouldn't really come that close to the track. So there was like wheels and there was plenty of space below it, maybe a couple feet. And then maybe for 1 or 2 cars, or maybe just the last car, they essentially hollowed out the entire bottom. So that way he would have approximately a second, maybe 2 seconds to go from below the box where there's a hole to up in the car.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be really difficult and really unsafe, but I think there's a possibility somewhere in there where that could have happened.
Okay. The box is obliterated by the train.
Yeah, but if you watch closely, they never really show you that closely where, like, what the box looks like after.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can catch it a little bit, but basically there's just like a piece of plywood over top.
Okay.
So it looks like they probably hid a place where he could fall below the box, and then afterwards there's just like broken plywood over top so you can't tell.
Okay.
That's how I think they did the trick, assuming it's not all fake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even if it is going 30 miles per hour, I'm just thinking of me like trying to hop in a car going 30 miles per hour.
Yeah, it would be tough. It would be really tough, and I think pretty dangerous. I mean, I'm imagining a cutout hole in the bottom of a caboose, and you have like 1 or 2 seconds to go from a hole in the ground below the train tracks to getting launched into the caboose. I don't know if there would be like some sort of pulley or just people up there or a scoop. I don't know what's going on.
You talking about the WWE entrance where they pop out of the ground with all the fireworks coming out?
I've never seen that, but yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's hard to believe that he actually did this like street magic stuff when there's like it is very well shot. That's the thing. So it's for him to just go into like a diner and do these magic tricks seems obscure because they set up so much lighting.
Yeah.
And there's all of this camera like equipment going on, and you could tell that the people there are just extras as well. So it's just difficult to believe any of it.
Yeah, I can see that. I still believe it because I think of it as if I were trying to make this show, I would have to take similar steps. Mm-hmm. Just approaching random people on the street wouldn't quite go as well. I think they're still like approaching people, but they're like, oh, would you be interested in doing the show that we're doing? Would you sign this NDA? We have a little set over here if you want to come stand over here, and we're going to shoot it. So I think they are taking a few steps. It's not just like, hey, can I have a second of your time to show you something? Even though they introduce it that way, they took a couple steps and they're making it nice and presentable. And I think that's also part of some of the setups. Like, for instance, the one where he does this one in a diner where he has somebody pick a card, and then he throws the cards in the air, and one sticks to the ceiling. It goes through a ceiling fan, sticks to the ceiling. It's their card. Like, things like that, I would have to assume that you have to set up something beforehand, like either in the fan or in the ceiling, to be able to launch the card at the wall. So, I mean, yeah, there is setup involved, but I don't think that makes it fake. I think that's just how tricks generally work.
Yeah, I'm talking like the people itself. The people that aren't him could easily just be paid actors.
Yeah, it just feels impossible to get around that. Like, if you're trying to make this show, how do you prove someone's just not a paid actor, you know?
I mean, like, I guess you can't prove that they're not a paid actor, but there are shows, like in Impractical Jokers, where people just go up to people in reality. Mm-hmm. So they could, well, because they wanted to make the show so cinematic and like a big story leading up to one great magic trick, they can't really do the street magic type stuff.
Yeah, and I don't think that's... Yeah, it's tough. I mean, that's kind of the line you draw, because it's either you have better actors that look like they're just coming in off the street, or you have real people and you bring them into a set. I mean, there's just different lines of production versus trying to make it seem more real.
I guess my issue with the show is that we could have people like you that are sitting there trying to figure out how it's done, when it could literally just be the camera wasn't on him for that brief moment, which is just unfortunate, because that's part of the fun. For, I'd say 50% of people are like, wow, just want to be amazed by it. And the other 50% are like, ooh, how do they do that? So for the people that are sitting there being like, how do they do that? It could have just been, he messed it up on camera, so they just cut away. And then they're just like, oh, it worked perfectly. Something like that.
Yeah. I think there's probably some of that. And I think I'm sure there's other times where he did the trick once for some people and he messed something up, or like you could tell it on camera, so they just run it again with other people. Mm-hmm. And I think that's fine. I mean, it's like making a video of anything. You take your best take. Mm-hmm. And I think it's fine to do a trick a couple times to get it right, to make it look good. I don't think that necessarily makes it fake. But I mean, you're right. They could fake something. But I think the main reason I think they're not really faking it is because you can tell he's a good sleight of hand artist and that he's a good magician because of the tricks that are like he does in front of people. Mm-hmm. Like some of them that you're like, oh yeah, I could definitely see how a magician would do that, and he's very good at it.
And I mean, if you have a vein the size of this man sticking out of your forehead, he's got to be pretty intelligent.
Yeah. This guy's pretty smart. So yeah, I definitely agree. There's plenty of room to fake this kind of stuff, and that's what sometimes makes it hard for me to watch magic online, even though I really, really like magic and sleight of hand and tricks like that. Mm-hmm. You know, whenever you watch something online, you're like, they might not even have done it. They just kind of, cut away. But if you go into it with this is real mindset, it's a lot more fun. Mm-hmm. So I think we kind of talked about, you have some reservations. I mean, clearly there's a lot of opportunity for faking something in a show like this. Mm-hmm. But I'm of the opinion this guy's good. I think he's good. I think he's got the talent. I think they have the budget and the time to make these tricks real and make it well. And I think that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, I think the guy's good. I just don't like how much room there is to just be fake. Yeah.
I just think that's kind of inevitable with a show like this. I mean, it's hard to make it much more real than it is, because any show that involves magic that's videotaped, there's so much room to fudge it. So,
well, I mean, they never made a season 2.
That's true. I actually thought the show was brand new. I was surprised when you said it was 2018. I found the show on Netflix. You probably saw it on Netflix too before I even mentioned it to you, because it's being recommended to everybody right now. Netflix probably just bought it recently, so I just assumed it was new.
Let me fact check, because when I looked up just clips, it said 2018. Death by Magic.
It definitely can't be like
2018.
15 years old. Okay. Yeah, I think they overheated.
Oh, damn.
Rip. Well, we could either do the rest audio, or we could take a 30-minute break, watch an episode of Death by Magic, and then come back.
No, we're just gonna run it audio.
Okay.
Got places to be, food to eat, bed to sleep.
For someone that said they're not very busy, you seem pretty busy.
Well, I gotta wake up early, so.
Really?
Yeah.
You got an interview or something?
No, I got volleyball in the morning.
Okay.
Monday and Friday.
Seems like most days, or every day.
In the morning? No.
Or just like we lost another one. Seems like with other people. Because you were saying how, you do like one jump serve a day, like you go out and you practice every day.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like you also have people to play with every day too.
Yeah, I can find people to play, but it doesn't always happen. It's just sometimes I post like a video of me playing with somebody from a couple days before or like weeks ago, just because there's so much footage.
Yeah.
All right, so Death by Magic.
Death by Magic. All right, I gave my full synopsis opinion.
So I think that maybe, yes, I was pretty hard on this show based off of just the way I am, and it's not too entertaining for me because I know how much I hide in editing, how much I get rid of when I edit videos.
Yeah.
So that's just how I approached it right away. I love magic, like street magics and stuff like that.
Like in real life?
Yeah, I was at a Christmas pop-up last year, and I was really hyped because this guy like squeezed my hand pretty hard when he was like doing a trick, and then he did like a bunch of other things and then had me flip over my hand, and there was an X on my hand that was originally on his, and he's like, "Ooh, it's swapped." And I was like, I actually went up to him at the neck like afterwards, and I think this is just like a cardinal sin of magicians, but I was like, try not to squeeze the hand as hard next time. Like, you don't need to tell them. But everyone else was like really excited, and I let them have it. Like,
Yeah.
Because there was like 5 other people, and I was like, you can just think that was amazing. I know exactly what happened.
So how many episodes of Death by Magic did you get through?
I was fully focused in on the first 2 episodes, and then just had it like on the side 3 and 4.
Okay.
Just because I was mostly interested in the end, just because all of the street magic stuff is what I thought was pretty fake.
Yeah.
The ending stuff, I feel like it's
That's
more
like the main
difficult.
event. Yeah.
Because first of all, they have a full audience there, so I mean, I didn't look anything up. I didn't look up if it was real or not, but it just seems like those are what they put all the time into. Everything else is just stuff he's learned in the past. So he's like, oh, I'm just going to show this all off. Like that, the one with the school, like the school of children. Like
that was one of my favorite ones.
He was ready for that one. He's
Yeah.
like, I never had this many people or like this exact number of people in a room before. Let's run it.
Yeah. That one was really fun. He like handed out all these cards to kids. He handed them like 4 cards each. They like ripped them in half. They put like one under their seat, and then they like by rounds like threw them in the air until they only had one left in their hand, and then it matched the one under their seat. I really like this trick.
You got a theory on this one?
I figured it out.
Okay.
I figured out the trick. It took me like an hour. I was like, I don't know if that's real. Like, I don't understand how you could have done that. So the way he did it was he had a random kid take a deck of cards and pass out 4 cards to each kid in order, face down. And the kids didn't look at the cards. They were supposed to be face down. So they give you 4, they give the next kid 4, they give the next kid 4. So it was a special deck that was like 4 9 of diamonds, 4 4 of clubs, 4 queen of spades. So all the cards they got were actually the same card, but they didn't realize it because it was face down. So when they ripped them up and they threw cards in the air, so they didn't actually see the cards, and they're ripped up and there's a pile of cards on the floor, so you don't know what's what. At the end, they're always going to match because it was always the same card, but you didn't realize that you were holding all the same card. And every kid had a different card, so it didn't look suspicious.
How did the rip match?
Because they held them all together and ripped them down the middle. So they just generally matched.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He said perfect match. So I guess just they didn't look into it enough.
They just didn't. I mean, they were just so impressed by it, like right off the bat. And
Okay.
they're like, "Oh, look." So I mean, if you rip them all together, you have like at least a 50% chance of it looking like a perfect match. The other half, maybe not so much. But
dude, I don't know. I feel like if I ripped cards like right now, that it would do that weird like curves off the center thing when you try to rip things in half. You know what I'm talking about?
none of the ones they showed looked like that. They all looked like
There we
pretty-
go. That's the editing trick. They
don't know,
only
all
showed
those-
the ones that were perfectly in half.
They showed a wide shot, and every kid was flipping out. So I think the kids definitely bought it. They weren't like, wait a second, these cards don't match perfectly. So that was a really cool trick that I would like to pull off one day.
So you think he like counted cards in the sense when he was like how many do you want to remove from the middle? How many do you want to remove from the top?
No, that didn't really matter. Because if you're holding a stack of all the same, you can just say a bunch of gibberish. They just throw them out in any order. It doesn't matter. You end up with one. It's going to match no matter what.
Okay. So they didn't look at the cards ever?
No, they were face down. Yeah. If some kid took a peek at the cards, it would have ruined the trick.
Yeah. I would have been that kid. Because anytime that I play a game where it's just like, all right, don't look at these cards, I'm like, I already did.
But they are kids that go to a school of magic. So I think they're pretty into magic and they don't want to ruin tricks. So like, okay, face down, yeah, sure. Like, and they're not going to break the rules.
If I was in that situation, I almost said it, I would just, he'd be face down. I'd be like, all right, that's the trick.
Yeah. But that one was really cool. I mean, it took me a while to figure that out. And I'm sure the kids probably figured it out after a while, considering they go to a school of magic. But it's fun.
They watched it back. They were like you, just sitting there, just replaying the magic trick over and over again when the episode aired. Like, how the hell did they do that?
So what are you giving this show overall out of 10?
I think I would put it on in the background, but never give my full attention to it. So I'd give it a 5. 5 out of 10. I think it's very well shot, but I just think there's so much room to be skeptical about things.
It's an interesting show to put. This was a show that I would never put in the background because I don't think it has any value in the background, really, because it's just like people's reactions and him saying random things like pick a card and watch this. So I don't know if it has that much value for me in the background.
Ultimately, it's a compilation. The show is a compilation of magic tricks. So you can just put it on, do something, hop in, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I guess
this one's interesting.
If you glance over. I was thinking like working or like playing a video game or something, and then it's like on the second monitor. I don't think I would do that, but you know, if you like leave it on a TV and you're walking by, I guess I see your point.
You could watch the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes and get the answer. Like, that's the thing. Like, the middle stuff does not matter towards the end result. There's like little tests he does, like you said with the train. The original guy actually was in a straitjacket in front of a car moving. He like hired somebody to just come drive a car down the street and timed how long it took to get there instead of just doing math. So he was like, I have 60 seconds to do this. Let me get a train.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that makes it more entertaining. But I really like the show. I think I would pretty much only watch it if I was just like looking for something to watch. I really like I love Penn and Teller. That's like one of my favorite shows. Because they have no reason to fake it. They're literally trying to figure out the trick. So that's a really great show. And I used to watch like all these. Do you watch those David Blaine parodies on YouTube?
No.
Oh man,
people parody being David Blaine, or
yeah. Okay. If you want to watch it, it's you just type in like Cheez-Its David Blaine parody or something like that, and I think it's like a Mad TV skit of these guys, and it's all like really fake magic, but like he does all this crazy stuff to these guys. It's a lot of fun, so I highly recommend that. But I would give this show like an 8.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. I'll probably finish it if I'm looking for something to watch and I want to toss something on. I'd probably finish the rest of it. I don't know I think there's like 6 or 8 episodes.
Yeah, 8.
8, yeah. So I'll probably finish it.
Only 8.
Only 8 ever.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can bring it back. Hopefully, if you guys go out and watch it. I don't know. I'm looking at the camera. They're all dead. But yeah, would recommend.
So you're gonna find a poker tournament out in Vegas where DMC is performing, and you're gonna go check it out. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone that weekend. Yep. Although he's an Englishman, so
you just connected 2 things in my brain that I didn't really realize were both in Vegas that I enjoy a lot, which is magic and gambling.
Oh, what else is there?
So now I think you just changed the course of my future.
There's also women.
Hey
yo! You like those?
Yeah, well, hopefully she didn't hear. She's a couple feet away. We don't need to talk about that.
You like red lights?
Huh?
You like red lights?
Yeah, we should stop. Oh, the reason why I asked you how many episodes you've seen, because they did the X trick on the show.
Oh, okay.
The one that you described that the magician did to you. They did that in episode 2. during the treasure hunt scene.
Okay,
Yeah. He put that on. Oh, that's one of the ones I haven't quite figured out. Do you have a theory on that one?
No.
Okay.
It was just like them digging that up. And
Yeah.
Well, they show how he loses his watch, but
Yeah.
they don't show how the watch gets to the beach and in the sand.
Yeah, my best theory. So, like, what he did was he told these people to go stand anywhere on this beach, and so they just like walk like a couple hundred yards away, and then he tells them to dig, and they find a box with this guy's watch in it, and they show, like he said, they show the clip where he sleight of hands the watch off of them, which is cool. But I'm like, how did they get the box exactly where they're standing? At first, I was like, oh, this is one of those things where they just put like 3,000 boxes on the beach, and then they were going to find one anywhere. I'm like, they got a big budget. They could do this. They could set this up beforehand. I'm like, nah, there's no way. They can't do this guy's watch and all that. Doesn't make any sense. I think what he had to have done is like have the box somehow like in his pant leg. And then like when he was like distracting them with his hands, he's like, oh, you want this spot? He kind of like slid it out and like kind of pushed it into the sand, and then like took a step back and had them dig and find it. But I don't know how you would do that smoothly without people seeing it. Mm-hmm. That seems very difficult to me. So I'm not sure.
They had to dig too. It wasn't just under like just a dusting of sand. They had to like actually dig down to get to it.
Well, actually, she was digging, but then he found it, I think, like 2 inches above or below the sand.
Okay.
So like she was like a foot and a half down, and he's like, "Can I help?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then he like digs a little bit to the right, and he finds it, and it's not that deep. But that's my best guess. I don't really know how he did it, but yeah.
I think while he was on the boardwalk, he handed it to a sand crab that ran over there and followed them around.
Could be. It's like a lot of times when I'm thinking with these tricks is like, for instance, I think it was David Blaine who held his breath for like 17 minutes, and people were like, "How did he pull off this trick?" And the way he pulled off the trick is he actually held his breath for 17 minutes, and he just trained for like a year straight. And so that's kind of that's usually my first thought with a lot of these tricks. Like for that one, for instance, where I was like, maybe they just actually buried like 10,000 boxes in this beach, because anywhere that you stand, you would probably find a box.
Well, he gets pretty good at reading people, so maybe he was just like, I know exactly where these two people are going to go onto on this beach.
Yeah. Or if, like, my thought with that one was they have a couple thousand boxes. If someone's, like, not quite close enough and they don't find it, they just scrap that one and they run it again with a new couple. And be like, okay, you finally stood close enough to a box that we buried.
And then just slides the watch. He, like, holds the box and slides the watch in quick.
Yeah. Someone unrelated gave him that watch earlier, so it would be the same watch.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm making that up. That's not how they did it.
I can't wait till your show airs.
Yeah, that's magic shows are hot.
Preston Teller.
I would love to be on one of those shows. Maybe I'll put together an act. And I'll learn sleight of hand. Every time I watch one of these, it makes me want to start learning it again.
What are you doing first? Documentary, stand-up comedy, or magician? I went to
a stand-up 2 nights ago. I went to an open mic night.
And you spoke?
No.
Okay.
I took the first step of just going to one and checking it out.
I watched a movie. I'm a director now.
No, but it's not like I'm just watching stand-up on... I like went to an open mic with inexperienced comics just to get a feel for what the venue's like what the other comedians are like, what kind of set they have, how long they go on, what generally works in a smaller audience with inexperienced comedians, because it's much harder to tell on a bit, like when you're watching a stand-up and you're watching, let's say, like Chris Rock or...
Well, I'm not watching a sit-down.
If you're watching one of those guys, they have an audience of thousands of people that all paid to see them that are already fans. They're going to get laughs no matter what they say.
Yeah.
It's totally different at an open mic. You're going there, you don't know these guys at all. The audience is small. Their material might not be good, and their delivery might not be good or whatever, and they might just be dead silence after they tell a joke. Mm-hmm. So there's it's a much greater learning experience to go to those types of things than watching stand-up on Netflix or wherever.
Yeah, you have to be cringe until people like you.
Yeah.
And then you could be cringe, but people laugh.
Yeah. So I learned a lot from it. I learned that my material is good enough to be as good as the people that went up.
Okay.
But
Is your confidence there?
Which was, yeah, so I gained confidence in that area. I was very worried about that. But where I lost a lot of confidence is delivery. It's something I kind of like pushed to the side. I was like, oh, like I'll just kind of figure out a way to say it and just say it. But that was like the epitome of what got laughs and what didn't. Like people that felt like awkward or uncomfortable on stage, like even if they had decent material, like their timing was off or whatever, and it didn't really get laughs, or like it got some laughs, but then they would like leave a big space where there wasn't a joke, and so it felt like they weren't getting laughs, and it like made the timing weird. So there was just a lot to learn in that, and it was a really good experience. And so I want to go to a few more, and then I want to actually start putting my name in the hat, because generally you have to submit your name, and they pick so many a night because sometimes there's too many, I guess.
Oh, that's crazy that you just submit your name, because, I mean, it feels weird to open like a restaurant or a bar or something, and then just be like, all right, anybody can get up there. You're risking a lot doing that.
Yeah. I mean, you mean the bar is risking a lot?
Yeah, by just having somebody go on stage, because that could just ruin somebody's night and they never come back.
What do you mean? Well, I mean, people know what they're getting into when they're watching an open mic, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. But I feel like they, or I guess it is just open to anybody, right? So
yeah. And like he says at the very beginning, he's like, there's like a host. It's a pretty cool setup. I didn't know any of this. Like there's a two-piece band. There's like a drummer and a guitarist that like play in between people like getting up and down, which I wouldn't even have thought of, but it made the night so much smoother. And then there's like a host that like introduces the next person, keeps people moving. And he said at the beginning, he's like, yeah, this is like a free speech zone. People can say whatever they want up here, as long as you feel like you can fight everybody in the bar. And he's like, then the second rule is if you do fight somebody, take it outside. So that was like the whole thing. And I guess people do get in fights there because people will just like go. And like there's a few people that did like pretty racist bits or like whatever. And it's just like, that's just kind of to be expected. They can say whatever they want.
Yeah. I was on a cruise ship where the stand-up comic was pretty racist, and then he ends off his set by saying, I have a black daughter, I can be racist. And we're like, oh, damn.
All right.
Okay. We couldn't get off of the cruise ship, though, to fight him because we were in the water.
So you couldn't
fight because we were going to be on it.
Damn.
All right. You will get all of these true or false questions. I'm sure of it.
If they're within the first 2 episodes, I paid eye-splitting attention.
Okay.
I don't know what that means, but that's what I paid.
We know how to get out of straitjackets now.
Yes. There was a step by... Was it 7 steps? I think it was 7-step tutorial on how to get out of a straitjacket.
I think it was... I mean, I'll put my guess out there. I think it was 9. But he says at the end, he's like, well, this is how you do it. Still hard, but it's how you do it. Yeah. If you're flexible, then it seems like you can get out of a straitjacket pretty easily.
Yeah. Yeah, it still seems hard, and it seems like you can't have it at the absolute tightest. You still have to be able to get your arm over your head, which is like, I don't have that flexibility, I don't think.
Just get rid of your neck?
Yeah, eliminate the neck. Step 1.
He asks a couple their phobia, and they tell him it's people who yell, and he immediately yells at them.
That's really funny. I don't remember that, though. I'm going to have to say false because I don't remember it. Okay,
that did not happen. It was the thumbnail. It looked in the thumbnail for the YouTube video that he was yelling at them. Okay. I was like, what is he doing? And then I click on the video and something else happens. The audience had the potential to die during a trick.
I can't think of a trick that was dangerous to people. Maybe if the train derailed.
I guess there's always a potential.
At the end of his car, he did this trick at the end of episode 2 where he filled up a car with water, and at the end he like opens the doors and people kind of get swept away by water a little bit, and then he hugs a lady with blood on his hand because he cut himself during the trick. So it feels like as dangerous as it got. I don't think anybody was in danger unless I missed something. So my answer is false.
Okay, I think at end of episode 3
I didn't get that far.
that the audience is revealed that they had the potential to kill themselves, actually.
Oh.
So he has this trick. I mean, spoilers, sorry, because you didn't get here.
Yeah.
There's a safe, a piano, and something else attached to 3 ropes. And he has to read, like, he goes under each one, turns his back, and they cut a rope. And he potentially will get that object dropped on top of him. After they cut the first 2 ropes, because he gets the first 2 correctly, he has everyone come towards him, and he cuts the 3rd rope, and it drops a bunch of stage lights on top of where they all were standing.
That's cool.
So it's like, oh, we could have just cut the wrong rope. One person is like, I voted for that rope every single time for them to cut. I could have killed us all.
That's funny.
Along with the phobias, he does a magic trick in which he reveals a cockroach inside of his mouth.
Ooh, I bet. I didn't get this far. It feels like another episode 3 question. Or a YouTube highlight. Did you watch YouTube highlights too?
Yeah, I thought you were pretty into this show. So I was like, I just gotta get as far ahead into the show as possible to get some true or false stuff.
Yeah, I started watching this yesterday. I spent 2 hours watching it. I just watched full episodes, and that's all I had time to dedicate. But I will be finishing it. I'm gonna say true.
Yeah. So that couple yelling thing, this thumbnail was him actually with a cockroach in his mouth, but it just looked like he was just yelling at them. All right. Cool. Yeah, that's all I got.
In the lyric, final segment.
Okay. Your fountains make me feel quite exquisite. I can't believe I used to hit it and quit it.
Again, I really like this lyric. I'm a fan. Your fountains are exquisite. It feels like crass in the least crass way. To say your fountains are exquisite. Man. Hit it and quit it. What was last week's? I guess 3 weeks ago now. I can't remember if it was true or false.
Oh, well, I'm not going to tell you what that is.
Shoot. Say it one more time.
Okay. Your fountains make me feel quite exquisite. I can't believe I used to hit it and quit it.
This is one that I could believe that you wrote.
Okay.
I do like it.
That's the thing. If you like it, then I wrote it, obviously.
But like some of the other ones, I was like, Aaron would not have. This is so not a lyric that Aaron wouldn't have come up with it as a fake lyric. But I think you could have come up with this one. I'm gonna say you wrote it.
I did write it.
Oh, boom! So it's good.
The previous one had the word domestic in it. And you were like, there's no way.
My domestic thighs.
Yeah, something about domestic thighs. And you were like, there's no way Aaron would combine those 2 things. And I was thinking of like, what's a word like domestic that I could use that could throw him off? And I came up with exquisite. And I was going to think of something, 2 words that didn't match up. Okay. But then for some reason, thought about fountains being exquisite. And I was like, wet, exquisite, whatever. Yeah. And then just came up with something that rhymed with it. And the whole car ride over here was completely silent, and me trying to sing away in order, like, to combine these 2 things. Okay. Because I feel like the very first episode, I said the lyrics to a cadence. Okay. Which made it sound more believable.
Okay, you're putting a lot of thought into this. I like this.
Yeah, like this. Gotta keep it entertaining.
Sweet. Well, that was our final segment. Thanks for listening, everybody. Even though we took a little hiatus, thanks for sticking with us. We're gonna keep rolling. We scrapped the politics idea. We're gonna keep it on theme for what we're doing. Do we have a next show?
It took us so long to make this show. We'll figure out our next show.
Okay, so we haven't figured it out yet. We're already falling behind. Yeah. We kicked around something, didn't we? You had an idea?
Oh, I was looking at some more MTV stuff.
Okay. I'm always down for that. Those are always fun.
Those are funny. Yeah. And those could definitely bring up, like, what's real or what's fake.
Oh, yeah. But as we know, this magic show was 100% real.
Wait, you didn't give a percentage. How much did you think it was real?
I think pretty much 100%. I think all the tricks were real. I think they probably cut around stuff to make it look even better than maybe it looked in real life. Mm-hmm. But I think that's fine. I think that's just how you make good TV.
I came into this 30, and I think you convinced me more of like 70.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay, I really brought you up. Nice. I like that.
You opened my eyes.
Wide open. You still think about 30% of it is hoopla.
Yeah, but it's got, like, for a show like this, you got to have some hoopla to make sure that it's entertaining.
I got it. Healthy amount of skepticism. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Catch you next Monday. Peace.
Goodbye.